Americans coming over here being nasty, doing nasty things, and being bad to the locals. Now, let me flip the script, okay? Let's talk about the fact that we get abused over here, too. The thing about Ghana is stop crying victim. Stop crying victim, because y'all cheat us out of a lot of stuff. Y'all invited us to come home, which by the thousands we did. We came running to Ghana. People sold their homes, moved out of their apartments, sold everything. Some people packed up containers and moved over here just to get over here and realize this is not our home. Y'all call us foreigners. Ghanaians call us that. We didn't make that word up. We didn't start calling ourselves that. We don't know that that's what y'all call the white people and the Chinese because we're not around them. But we know that that's what y'all call us. I ain't never heard the word before, Tabby, till I came to Ghana. Okay, y'all invite us home. Let's talk about what y'all do to us. Starting from the fucking before we get to the airport, we got to have a visa that we pay for to even enter our home. We pay all this money for passports and visas to get here. We get to the airport, and as soon as you see a fucking blue passport, everybody's coming for us. Can you give me something small at the COVID place? You get to immigration. Can you give me something small? You get to baggage. Can you give me something small? A person grabbed a damn cart and put my bag on it and got mad because I gave him $5 because I only had hundreds, because you come over here with hundreds to get the best, cash in rate. How about he looked at that and said, I don't want that. I said, what you mean you don't want it? I said, I want to know, what did you expect me to give you? He said, $10. I said, so you want me to give you over 100 CDs for picking up a bag, putting it in a cart? He don't know this is like my 5th time coming through the airport. I have never seen nowhere in any country or state where people have openly, it says $60 for foreigners, $30 for locals, okay? You go to Cocoon Park, and I don't remember the price. Let's say $200 for foreigners, because that's what y'all call us, $40 for locals. You go to the castle, it's $60 for foreigners, $10 for locals. I ain't never seen that nowhere. I don't went nowhere in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada where it said you pay, if you a local, if you're from here, you pay $1 for a Coca-Cola, but if you're a foreigner, you pay $8 for a Coca-Cola. I ain't never seen that nowhere except Ghana. Nobody in the airport has ever asked me for no money for nothing. I have only seen that in Ghana. Now let's talk about the fact that y'all welcomed us home and how this process looks to me. According to y'all, the ones of us that were stolen, so let's talk about the process of coming home. We got stolen from our mother, our birth mother and father. 20 years later, we're probably 26 years old now. Our mother finds us and she said, baby, y'all come home. I miss you. Come back home. Get out them streets where they don't love you at and come home. So we drive, take a taxi, however we get to our mother's address, we get there. But before she let us come to the door, she says, oh, welcome home. But before you come in, can you pay me $300 to enter the door? That's the visa to come home. So, okay, we happy to be home. So we paid $300 to our mother to step foot in her house because we're excited to be home to the motherland, okay? We get in there, and now it's dinner time. And she has plates on the table for the kids that grew up in the house. And she has a plate on the table for me and my sister who was stolen years ago. And she says, oh, my daughters, because you didn't grow up here, my children get to eat free that grew up here. But because you were stolen and you're just coming back, I have to charge you $20 for a plate. So me and my sister, we're so happy to be home. We're confused. We pay her $20 for a plate. Okay. That's the cocoon shit. That's y'all giving us different prices for shit, okay? Now we're at our mother's house, and we're enjoying being there. We see something's a little weird, but we enjoy being back home with our mother. We decide we want to stay. And she goes, oh, you want to stay a little longer? You're going to have to pay me $1,000 every year to stay here. That's the residency. Now we're paying her for residency, even though she invited us home after we were stolen from her, okay? Now we pay the residency, and then we decide, you know what, we want to get on the birth certificate. We kind of like it here. It's a little weird, but we comfortable enough to stay here. And she tells us, oh, in order for you to stay here, I have to put my name on your birth certificate. That's going to be $3,000 please. And then I will put your name on the birth certificate and you will become a family member. That's the citizenship. That's the citizenship. So how are we home if we got to pay y'all? Why aren't the visas free? If this is home, why don't you make this visa free for us? If this is home, why do we have to pay to be a resident? If this is home, why isn't our citizenship automatically given to us?
African Americans leaving Africa right now. You know, I think when people migrate to the continent or they leave abroad, as we're seeing in record numbers, more than ever before, I'm not sure if it's new or if social media is giving us these viewpoints, but you come to countries where you find the quality of life much better, but the cost of living a lot less than what you're used to, and you overextend. You purchase a house or you get an apartment in the most luxurious part of the country. You're dining out every day, multiple times a day. You've got a driver, you know, you're doing all of these things. And while these things can still be relatively affordable, what I see for the most part is people just doing the most, like getting the most luxurious car, the most luxurious home, the most luxurious furnishings, and essentially they can't afford to not do the work that they were doing in the US to now sustain the life that they've created on the continent. And so, you know, when I first arrived to the continent, I wouldn't say made those mistakes. I have lived, had money, lost it. So I knew how to live pretty frugally. But I do recommend that when you do migrate, that you enjoy that experience for the short term. And that's like 30 days, you know, celebrate yourself, have fantastic dinners out, stay at a hotel, stay in a fabulous Airbnb. But if this is something that you want to do long term, you need to get yourself on a budget and be financially responsible so that you don't overextend yourself, so that you don't end up having to go back to a country that you so direly want to get out of.
First thing that I didn't like is the immigration process. When I went to Tanzania, I already imprinted it in my brain that you're allowed to, from the research that I've done, that you're allowed to have 3 months there and then get extensions, which is a 30-day extension. It's supposed to be 2 30-day extensions for free. But once I got to the immigration, they had us wait there for 5 hours after telling us they could give us that time period, and we only got 2 weeks. After waiting 5 hours, we got a 2-week extension. So I had to maneuver myself from there, and it was just not pretty for me. I left the immigration office like literally in tears because I was just like, it's just this, I pick up on vibrations and energy, and it's just like the immigration people just felt like they don't want me here. You know, for whatever reason, whatever judgment they had of me, I don't think they want us as expats there. You know, and that's just the honest truth, you guys. Like, they were laughing at me while I was crying. Like, it was just not funny. Maybe it was just the immigration officers that I dealt with, but it was just like, oh, okay, yeah. So that was like one of the first negative experiences for me there. But yeah, I thought I could, you know, stay there a little bit longer just to feel it out. Now, let me tell you guys, I never, ever, ever had I had no expectations with coming to Africa. Like I told you guys, I had plans to move to Ghana. They changed their rules. I don't like how their president moves. So I decided to come over to go to Tanzania. Yeah, the immigration, like to have to leave every 3 months. I know this before going to Tanzania because it's everywhere, it's listed everywhere. But what I didn't take into was the expense that it would be to travel from country to country. I thought maybe it would be a little bit cheaper, but clearly it wasn't. I just never fit in, and I've been me all my life. This is me, and I'm always changing and growing, but who I am at the core, I can't change. So if I can't vibe with the culture and I feel judged by the culture half the time, it's just not gonna work long term for me. So that's one of the bigger reasons why I left too. Most of the expats were couples or males. So I met a guy, he was there from Europe. He had a business in Europe, but he lived in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, come to find out, like, he was like bragging about how, you know, he can get certain favors from the girl in the community for little to nothing. And I don't mean sexual favors, but he was just bragging. And that's what he kind of like hinted at, but I didn't want to assume. But, you know, like, I think guys sometimes come to exploit the white and black guys come there to exploit the community if, you know, they know like they can get a lot for little to nothing, you know, from whether it's company, sex, whatever, like they know this, so they go there to sometimes exploit. So being that I met some cool expats that were males too. That right there was like a big I don't fit, you know, but I want to connect with like-minded people, and I also want to connect with the African culture and the African people, but because there was that language barrier, I couldn't connect with any of the Tanzanian people, and I'm sure that stopped me from meeting a bunch of good people, but I couldn't connect. So this was like a thing for me that I was just like, dang, you know, like it sucks. This is a bummer. It took a lot of effort coming to Africa, but I was just like, I just don't see myself happy here. I'm not happy. So I didn't know, like in my mind, I'm like, once I didn't feel welcome, I'm like, when can I escape? You know, because if you don't feel connected with the people, it's just like, what in the world am I doing here? Like, you know, I vibe with a few Tanzanian people, the ones who spoke English, and I didn't vibe with any diasporans, actually, not for long. So, you know, that's just what it is.
So we already know that Africans and African Americans don't get along. The hate is very evident when you hop online, but that's the thing. When you hop online, I don't see this shit in person at all. Okay, I'm lying a little bit. There will always be somebody that's mean, but that's not what I'm talking about. My point is that the hate is strong online, but there's lots of love in person. As an African, I love African Americans. I have so many African American friends. We get along just fine. And I bet you if I asked any of them what they think of Africans, they won't have anything bad to say. We can talk about the bullying that Africans endured by African Americans in school, but that's not what I want to talk about. Just because I'm not in school anymore and I don't get bullied for being African anymore. I have learned to let that go because I decided to love myself. And I've been able to see that a lot of the African Americans that bullied me are now grown or the same age as me, and they don't think like that anymore. If you're black and you go to any part of Africa, I bet you will be loved and welcomed. So just remember that just because there's hate and division online, it doesn't mean that it's the same thing in person.
What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Dash Lifestyle. If you're watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share and also comment. So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen some of the challenges that the black Americans, not only the black Americans, also we have the black people from Caribbean, we have the Jamaicans, the Haiti people. They are facing a lot of challenges when they are visiting Africa, the motherland. So guys, I want to highlight some of the challenges that our black American lady she has talked about, and how it is affecting the black people who they are visiting here in Africa. So for me, the black American lady, she's talking about the visa. For me, I think also the visa to the black people, it is not supposed to be very hard to get a visa for the black people who they are coming here in Africa. Simply because when you go to the history of black people, we know the Africa, it is the motherland of the black people. All black people, they came from Africa, and these people, they were forcefully taken here in Africa. They were not willing to go out of Africa to the Caribbean or to the West country, to the America. So these people, they fought on their way. So these people, they were not willing to go, and these people, they really want to come back in Africa. But you can see when these people they have made their choice to come back here in Africa, to come back here in motherland, it is becoming so very difficult for them to get a visa here in Africa. So why is it very difficult for the black people in the Caribbean, for the black Americans to come here in Africa? We as our African leaders, they need to make it very easy for the black people to come here in Africa, or instead they need to make it no visa to the black people when they are visiting the motherland, because these are our brothers and sisters. These are our families. They have our African blood, so they need to come here without facing any difficulty for them. And also, guys, you can see she has come out and also highlight some of the problem they are facing when they are when they are already here in Africa. She's telling us that if she wants to become, we are the ones who we usually tell them, please, black Americans, please, black people in the Caribbean, welcome back home. But when they are visiting here home, they are starting to face it, they are starting to experience so many challenges. First of all, some of the black people, the black Americans or the black people in the Caribbean, they are being scammed. Yeah, they are being scammed, and also they are being charged highly. This lady, she has talked about being charged highly, and yet she's a black person. Yes, I can agree. This is the problem that we are having here in Africa. We as African people, we love to treat the people from outside as a foreign people. Even in our black American people, when they are visiting in a certain place, these are prices for the local and these are prices for the foreigners. And we black people, we as African people, we love to increase our prices to the foreign, and also this also affects to our black American people or to the black people in the Caribbean, because they feel like, why are you charging us more, and yet this is our home, this is our motherland. Also, that we as black people, we need to change about that. We need to make it a very fair price to the black people. The only charge that we should increase it is to these other races. For example, the white people, yeah, we need to change them more high, because they are the ones who they did so much things in our country. They destabilize our country. They take our brothers and sisters all the way from here in Africa. They enslave us. They colonize us. So the only high prices that we should charge, it is these Western people, it is these white people. But to our black people, to our black Americans, to our black people in the Caribbean, we should lower our price. We should make equal to all black people. And that's why our black American sister, she's complaining, why are you Africans charging us more, telling us we are foreigners, we are not the local, you are going ahead and increase, and you are overprice us, you increase the prices to us. This is not a good move. Also, our brothers, our black people, our African people, we need to change that. And also, she has talked about she wants now, she has come here in Africa, she has lived here in Africa, and she wants to attain a citizen. Why are we charging them to attain our citizenship? We should supposed to make it free to the black people. These are some of the things that I usually talk about. Why are we not embrace our own? Why are we not supporting our own races as a black people? We need to make it very easy for them to have a citizenship. These are our brothers. They are not foreigners. This lady, they said that they were stolen. And yes, these people, they were stolen here in Africa, and yet they are coming back. But when they are coming back, they are feeling now it is not safe even for them to come back here. We need to make it safe for them. I really love about Jamaica, because Jamaica, they always sing about African to unite. They want to get out of Babylon. They usually tell us African unite. They are moving out of Babylon. So we as African, we should unite. We should come together. We should make our African country great and better, so that our black people, wherever they are in the foreign country, they can come back home. And this lady, she's telling us, why are we charging them to be a citizen here in Africa? And yes, it is, and yet it is supposed to be a free, because they are our brothers and sisters. They have their families here. They have African blood. Why are we charging them $300? She has said they were charging her $300 to become a citizen. That it's supposed to be a free. to all black people. And sometimes I wonder, why is it very hard for us black people? If you want to go to the Western country, it is very hard to find a visa. It is very expensive. The flight, it is very expensive. But why is it very easy for these white people to come here in Africa? The visa, they are getting it easy. The flight for them, it is cheap. Why is it very easy for them to come here in Africa? And is it hard? And it is hard for us black people to go in their country. We need to make it also difficult for them to come here in Africa. The same way they are making hard for us black people, we need to make also difficult for them to come here in Africa. And we need to make it easy for all our black people to visit here in Africa. And also, guys, the second lady, she was talking about being scammed. Yes, I agree. Here in Africa, there is a lot of scam, and that it is true. There is a lot of scam, especially for the foreigners. For the people who are visiting here in Africa, they usually got scammed. But for me, I can tell you that scam, it is not only in Africa. Scam, it is everywhere, even in United States. Scam, it is there. So for you not to be scam, you need to do a proper research. You need to do a proper investigation. If you want to purchase a land here in Africa, you need to find a trustworthy person to do for you a research so that you can buy a land. You need to do more research before buying a land, because so many people, so many black Americans, so many people in the Caribbean, they are being scammed about the land here. So for you, before paying that land, you need to do a proper research. Scam, it is everywhere. That one I cannot talk about, that I cannot emphasize, but what I can tell you, it is the scam, it is there, and it is true. So many foreigners, they are being scammed. Not only the black American, also the white people, they are being scammed here in Africa. And scam, it is not in Africa alone, even in the United States, even in Europe, even in the UK, there is a scam. So for you to, before paying anything, you need to do a proper investigation. You need to do a proper research. And also, guys, the lady also, she has talked about why is it as African people, we are so cruel, or we are so hard, or we are treating our brothers and sisters very bad when they are coming to visit us here in Africa. You can see this lady, she talk about in the airport. She also being asked, oh, give us money, give us a little money. Why are we so beggars? Why are we treating our fellow brothers and sisters bad way? I told you that we as African, we love to embrace these white people. Even on the airport, when we see our white visitors, we usually give them the first priority before our black American sister. So that one also, they need to change. We need to give more opportunity to our fellow brothers, our fellow black brothers. We should stop embracing these other races. And that's how these people, they colonize us. They spoiled our mind and told us that the only races that we should embrace, it is the black races, but not these. It is the white races, but not the black races. And that's why we African, we are very, very behind. We love to embrace these other races. We love to support these other races. When you go to the market, to the mall, to the store, we are supporting them and leaving our brother's store. We love to support this other race. So for us African people, we need to embrace our own races. We need to give first priority to our own races, but not these other races. We need to make our African great to all the black people. They want to see us African people uniting. They want to see us African people developing so that they can come here in Africa, so that they can also invest here in Africa. We should stop telling them to come back here home. While they are coming here, we treat them bad. That one we need to stop. So kindly guys, subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment.